Welcome to another episode of Game Time, the first one of the season, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week we are at Gadsden High School, home of the Panthers and head football coach Dino Jr. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
You started the season with a great 42-0 win against Ruidoso. What did you learn about your team? What did you see from them in week one?
Well, I know that they're hungry, and when you taste a little bit of success, you just want to keep building off that, right? And so it was great to see them take a week of preparation and then execute out on the field, and once again, just being hungry. They want it.
What kind of team do you have this year?
It's got experience, and it's young in some spots. Last year we were extremely young with no experience, so we got a lot of athletes, and we got to find ways to get them the football, and so that's a tough challenge, but an exciting one. And they proved it that they can share the wealth a little bit, and we did that last week. So I'm excited to see them just keep growing and progressing.
Who are some of those athletes that we'll hear from? It's early on in the year, but who do you expect to kind of carry a lot of the load for you this season?
Oh boy, I could probably name all 22, right? Freddie Andrade, Ryan Hernandez, Nathaniel Lopez, Chris Orozco. You know, the list can go on and on. Zach Talavera. I literally could name just about all of them because they just contribute in different ways. And, you know, it's my job and my staff's job to make sure that we get them all involved somehow, offensively and defensively and through special teams. So, you know, we'd be here all day if I talked about all 22.
Well, you started the season on a Thursday night. Did you like that early start? And you have another Thursday game this week, correct?
Right. It's been three Thursdays in a row. So planned out real well in the schedule for us. Gives me an extra day to rest on the weekend. But, you know, we're ready for Friday night, too, when that comes after this week.
You picked up a win in week one. What do you hope to see from your team in week two?
It's never perfect, so we've got to continue to improve in a lot of areas, right? Some things kind of got away from us in that first game that you really don't see till you go back and watch the film. So I just want to see them continue to progress and get better throughout the season in that flow. And I tell them that good teams, you know, will pick a win here and there. Great teams will do it consistently, so I want to see them do it again.
Speaking of that consistency, there was a while that Gadsden football was a little bit down, a little dry spell for the program, but you made the postseason last year. How did that help going into this year, and what are you doing to change the culture?
Well, it's the kids. You and I talked 6 years ago, right? And we had 35 kids, and now we've got about 80-some kids. And so it's just them buying in, taking into what my coaches are saying, and then acting on a lot of these things. They're the ones that play. There's nothing that I do that's special. It's them. They got to go out there and make plays. And so like in this group in particular, they have playoff experience. They have playoff winning experience. And they like how that feels. They like how it tastes, right? And also the community has just lit up as if we won the whole Super Bowl, right? With just a playoff win. So they're just eager for more. And you can see it just by having conversations with them on campus, in the locker room, at practice. It's changing.
And lastly, what's it like for you to be the head coach of this program? You got it up and running the way you want. Things are going well. You're headed in the right direction. What's it like for you leading this program?
I rarely reflect, but this is my home. I graduated from here too, so it does make me feel good that we're able to be the ones to do it. I told my AD before I got hired that Gadsden's going to win, whether it's going to be me or 10 years from now. The days of being in the bottom barrel of football, they're done. Gadsden will be where it should have always been, which is at the top, and these guys are the ones that are getting us there. So,
well, right now you're perfect, undefeated at 1-0.
I know, right? I love that.
Congratulations on the week one win. Good luck in week two.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Hello, I'm Ryan Hernandez from Gadsden High School. Welcome back to Game Time.
It's hard to believe that we are already 1 week into the high school football season. Plenty of highlights and recaps to check out. Here's a look back at some of the Week 1 winners. The biggest matchup of the week was defending state champ Cleveland making the trip to Las Cruces to face Centennial, the team that beat them opening week last year. The Storm defense was the star of the show. Cleveland had 4 interceptions on the day, and they shut down Centennial's offense. Cleveland starts the year with a 27-8 win over Centennial. Another powerhouse matchup was La Cueva and Rio Rancho. The Rams took a 7-0 lead early, but the Bears responded in a big way. Quarterback Cam Dyer threw a pair of TD tosses and ran for another 3 scores as the Bears start the season with a 35-14 win over the Rams. La Cueva travels to defending state champ Cleveland this Friday. Albuquerque High hosted Oregon Mountain in Week 1. The Bulldogs spotted the Knights a 7-0 lead, but then outscored the Knights 34-10 the rest of the way. Albuquerque High with a 34-17 win. It was rivalry week in Valencia County as Los Lunas took on Belen for possession of the Chili Roaster Trophy. The Tigers scored in every quarter. 9 points in the first, then 14 points, 12 points, 21 in the final quarter to win by a 56-6 count. Los Lunas is slated to host Alamogordo next. Defending state champ Artesia started their season against Carlsbad in the Eddy County War. The Bulldogs built up a 40-7 lead at halftime and cruised to a 55-7 victory. Volcano Vista made the trip south to take on Las Cruces. Running back Elijah Gonzalez scored 3 times as the Hawks opened the season with a 24-7 win over the Bulldogs. The Hawks are home this week against West Mesa. West Mesa met up with Santa Fe last week. The Mustangs put up 638 yards of total offense, 457 on the ground. West Mesa quarterback Elijah Brody had 169 yards rushing and 181 yards in the air. West Mesa with a big win on the road, 42-6. Legacy Academy met up with Melrose out in Bernalillo. This one was all Buffaloes. Melrose had 3 first-quarter scores, capped off by a pick 6 from Josh Roybal. Melrose with a 52-0 shutout win. Farmington opened the season against last year's state finalist and rival Piedra Vista. After a lengthy lightning delay, the Scorps wasted no time getting on the board in the first quarter, and they never looked back. Scorpions beat the Panthers 48-7. Farmington will host Durango next. On Saturday, the Mayfield Trojans made their way to Albuquerque to meet up with Manzano, and this was all Mayfield. The Trojans post a 55-0 shutout win on opening week. They host Santa Teresa this week. In one of the closest games of the week, Atrisco Heritage and Sandia went head-to-head. The Matadors came from behind to win their opener 21-20. A couple of teams kicked off the weekend on Thursday. The Socorro Warriors hosted the Robertson Cardinals. Robertson scored on their first 2 possessions and never trailed. Paul Duran gave the Cardinals a 14-0 lead. Senior Mateo Contreras had a big game with a pair of interceptions in the first half, including a pick 6. Robertson had a 28-6 lead at the break and held on to win their opener 28-13. The Cardinals are home against Cobre on Saturday. The Albuquerque Academy Chargers started their season with a bang against Rio Grande. Underneath the lights at home, Academy put up 30 points in the second quarter alone. Senior quarterback Lucas Tracy threw 5 TD tosses on the game. Chargers get a 50-0 win against the Ravens. The Chargers are at Moriarty on Friday. Bernalillo met up with Valley. The Spartans found the end zone first and never trailed. Their defense came up big with a pair of picks, holding the Vikings without an offensive score. Bernalillo beat Valley 12-6. The Spartans host Espanola Valley this week.
Hi, I'm Roman Gonzalez from Gadsden, and we'll be back with more Game Time after this.
Do you love sports? Do you want a front row seat for exciting high school sports action in New Mexico? If the answer is yes to either of those questions, then becoming an interscholastic sports official may be right for you. The New Mexico Officials Association is looking for individuals age 15 years or older to serve as officials in 10 different sports. No experience is necessary and training is provided. If you're interested, call 505-923-3110. That's 505-923-3110. or go to the website nmact.org and click on the Officials tab.
Hi, my name is Zach Talavera from Gadsden High School. Welcome back to Game Time.
Welcome back to Game Time from Gadsden High School, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. The high school fall sports season also means volleyball, and there's one program that seems to make the finals year after year after year after year. When it comes to Class A volleyball, Melrose has been the most consistent program in the bunch over the past decade. Melrose has reached the final each of the last 7 years.
It's always a good thing to have that pressure and to have that target because it makes us play at our best every single game, and every practice we have to come in ready to go because we're never going to get a bad game.
Teams definitely prepare probably a little harder than they do for some other teams maybe, just because we've had that success year after year. But we just talk about embracing that because we know we're going to get everybody's best effort. So we want to give our best effort every time we're on the court as well.
Melrose returns 3 starters from last year's group, including standout senior Gracie Odom.
She wants to challenge herself every single day. She comes in and since she was in 7th grade for me, has asked, how do I get better? What do I need to do to fix myself? And oftentimes I don't have an answer for her because she's doing such a great job anyway, but she's always challenging herself to be better, and she's never going to get outworked.
I see myself as having to be a leader, having to pull us all up, pull myself up, every girl on the team, everybody on the bench, just pulling everybody up from being a 2 to a 5, and then a 5 to a 6, and then so we're all just playing at our highest potential because we're all working our hardest. That's all we can do.
Melrose lost to Gateway Christian in last year's final, but they try to look at it as a teachable moment.
In teachable moments, we may talk about some things that we can improve upon from last season to the next, but it's always every year we start with a different dynamic of kids, so we try not to look back too much, but we definitely want to remember and learn.
We do want to get past it and not think about it, but we do want to look back and learn from it. All of the things that we could have done better and all the miscommunications and all of those things, we want to learn from those and get better and push those in the rear view mirror so that we go to state with a clean slate and ready to fight for another blue trophy.
The players have 2 themes for this season.
We have a couple of them. We have pursuing excellence and just pursuit, just always going for every ball, always being there for each other. We also have being on board, just every person on the team has to be on board, going in the same direction so that everything flows and we all have the same vision and goal. I just want to leave a legacy for the juniors, sophomores, freshmen, anybody coming up, just that you can do it and put everything into it. It'll be worth it.
Melrose will open the season this week at home against Legacy Academy. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. Make sure you check us out each and every week. You never know where we're going to show up. We travel all around the state to talk to all different programs here in the great state of New Mexico. You know the place for the most high school highlights is right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.